Hello. So today I am going to do Jessica Jones. So I'm going to go over to the spanner here, add, insert photo. Okay, and I'm going to work from this image. Okay, so just holding that with both fingers and spreading them to get that image of her looking grumpy. Press the arrow to get rid of it. And I'm just going to rub out, just make sure I've got it on something like inking. There you go. So I'm just going to rub out the excess on here that I don't want. Okay, so just make that nice and big. There we go. I don't need all this because I need my space to work. And then I'm going to work out the basics. So this may take more than one video to show you what it is I do. So anyway, here's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try out the blue. I've already made this video once and the blue didn't show up at all, so I'm hoping it's going to work. So let's have a see. So if I just do that line, how clear is that line? Not clear at all. Let's stick with black. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to map out her face, and I'm going to do it real quick. Okay, so sort of got this kind of oval shape, and chin wise, so if you hold down the line then it just starts becoming a straight line. I'm going to do that just because I want to sort of do this sketch and just get roughly where her chin is. So it's about there. Okay. And then from here and here. Okay, so they do kind of go in. It's just a guide just to so you can see where it goes. So you can use your rubber now. Just quickly map out where everything goes, and then this will make everything so much easier. Okay, so we got that, and then I need to figure out where the eyes are going to go. So over here you can see the distance isn't so bad, and you've got an eye here, so I'm going to estimate it's about there, and they go off at an angle, so she's kind of looking across ways, so you're getting this kind of angle. I think my pencil's a bit, the opacity was down too far. There we go. So just hold it down so you've got a nice straight line, and you can just get the angle. It's about there. So that's the angle of her face. I'm going to do the same with the nose. So the nose, try and imagine the distance. Okay. So it's about here. We can be rough. Okay. And then you've got the distance of the eyes. So that's the edge of the eye here. I need to work out how wide the eye is. So I'm going to estimate it's roughly there. And then there's a short gap before you get to the nose. Then you've got the width of the nose, which is about here. Then another gap until you hit the edge of the eye, which is there, which is where I currently am. That's what I'm looking at. And the width of this eye is slightly larger because of the perspective. So this one here is small, this one here is slightly bigger. There you go, put a moustache, a little beard. Anyway, so I'm just using 2 fingers to double tap to undo things. Nothing is permanent. So I reckon her eye's probably about that. range. Now from there I can kind of guess as well how wide the eye is, so I'm going to say it's probably about this here, and in line with that, in line with that. So that way now we know roughly how big the eyes are we're going to stick in. Okay, I won't do this all the time, you won't see it in many of my pictures because I'm doing it all in my head, but for the sake of this I'm showing you how I'm thinking. So now we're looking at the distance between the eyes and the nose. So roughly there's going to be an eyeball there and an eyeball there. Now I'm seeing, so in between that eye is the tip of the nose. So as long as I stick to that rule, I know the nose starts roughly here. Okay? And then where the bridge of the nose is, there's a slight angle before it goes down there. So let's try and get these angles in. Angle there, angle there. And this is like just the basic stage. As long as I'm doing this, I can change things, get everything exactly how I want it to be. Use the rubber. Alright, so I'm sort of here at the minute. So she's got all this going on underneath the tip of the nose. That's all got to be included. So distance there is mirrored. And that's that. So that's kind of the rectangle that I've sort of decided exists in my head. The nose, three fingers to put it back. There we go. Try not to be so rough. I'm a bit of a rough drawer, to be honest. There we go. And now we can map out where the nostril is. Okay, so you've got this sort of triangle effect here. That's the edge where a nostril starts to move around. So now I know that inside here is where we're going to do her nostril, and it goes to about there. Okay. And it doesn't matter if it's not looking quite like her yet. Okay, now we can rub out that box. Don't need that so much now. We don't really need that distance anymore. What we do need though is we need to imagine the distance here, and it kind of goes off at an angle like that. So let's try and mirror that. So we've got this line going across. Try and imagine that it's sort of there. It's not quite touching the line, so I've got that going down a bit too far. So let's pop it there. And now we can start mapping out the lips. So you can see the distance here. Okay, and again the lips, they're a bit more along this straight line, contrary to her nose and her eyes. The lips are kind of staying put. So I'm reckoning there, and where the edge of her nose is, and the edge of the mouth, it's kind of halfway between that. So you're sort of talking around here. Okay, so I'd say that this spot is the edge of her mouth. Okay. And like I said, I do all this kind of stuff in my head, trying to figure out where things are going to go, and sometimes you'll see me sort of map it all out as best I can, but there'll be a lot of similarities in it because that's what's going on. That's how I'm imagining this to work. So this part is underneath the line, so I'm going to stick to that. It kind of goes up, goes down, goes up, into kind of her sneer. And then here, we draw a line there, hold down the pencil. Okay. And there's this kind of an angle. And kind of goes up, it doesn't stay going along horizontally for very long. It just kind of goes up to there and then in. Okay. So what we can see instantly that's wrong is the shape of her head. So let me just rectify that. Let's keep going down. So there's the chin. She hasn't got a very big chin here. There we go. Then there, got this kind of curvature. Goes up in line, I would say, with this lip. So it kind of has this effect. And then you've got this part that's slightly lower than the whole lip. So that's where I'm aiming to go in this kind of join the dots. And it's about there that we start to get another angle going. So let's find the distance between the edge of the eye to the edge of the face, which is about there. It's pretty much a straight line, like that. Possibly a bit more in. There we go. Then it angles again up this way. So let's do that. And we can just double check and just do that. Hold down the pen, get nice and straight. There we go. Then from there, so it goes through the nostril and up. So that's where I want to take my line as well. Sort of towards the edge. There we go. Now we've got this part here. Take it over to about here. Bring this down over the eye. So remember all the bits. So it's going to go there. She's got some swoopy hair. Now the distance between the edge of the nostril and the jaw, or the side of her face, shall we say, at the minute. So we'll go all the way over to there. It's about that. Because you've got to remember the distance between that eye there as well. So that's probably about that. So realistically her head is kind of going like this. I reckon maybe it's a bit more like that. It does look a mess, I'll give you that. But that's alright. Because at the moment I'm figuring it out. I'm working out where things are going to go. There we go. just do a scarf quickly. But yeah, like I said, I tried to do this yesterday. Spent hours doing it, and then when I looked back at the video, the blue pen that I'd been using to sketch all the detail, all this bit out, wasn't being picked up by the camera. It was too faint. So it was a massive waste of time. So just doing the parting, sort of getting that roughly in there. The top of her head, we can see again working out distances. So from the edge of her face out to here, from the edge of her face out to that bit, sort of wider part, and it comes back in again around about here. Okay, so basically does this, it comes down, goes in, and then kind of goes out again, which means that this scarf needs being wider. There we go. So by just sort of mapping things and comparing the distances between things, you can get a very accurate, so you can sort of just go along like this. So the distance is probably about there. You can build up fairly accurate ideas. And so I've got that range. Is that similar range? No, so that needs to be there. It's because sometimes I've managed to do whole pictures and then realise that something's off. So now I try more than anything to get it all right here. And that way, because this is the rough stage, I think that was alright actually, didn't need to change that. In the eyebrows, now this eyebrow goes over this line here, it's about there. There we go. And then this one kind of joins here and goes up to about there. There we go. And then it's a bit of shade. Got a bit of shade here. A bit of shade there. A bit of shade there. As well as slight eye bags. Okay, so now you can start to put in things like the eyes, and then so I'm filling in the rectangles with the eye shape now. but as long as I don't go bigger than the rectangle, I should be able to maintain the proportions correctly. So just remember to sort of do these lines on the inside to give you an idea of where shading is going to be. So that lip I don't think is correct. I think it's a bit shorter than that. It's like that, yeah. What about that bit? Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. That's the sketch part of it done. Okay, so I'm going to carry this on in part 2. Okay, bye.